So thank you so much for coming to NOAH. We are very interested to hear about your startup. Tell us a little bit about ClassPass.
Sure. So ClassPass is a monthly fitness membership program. It lets you take classes at different studios and gyms in your local area. So as a customer, you pay a monthly fee, and then you get a set number of credits to use at different classes, such as yoga, spinning, dance classes, or ballet classes.
And people do this on top of a gym membership, right? How important is traveling? Because I think the beauty is that you have like a booking.com, a lot of inventory of different classes. Yoga is one. What's like another
yeah,
popular?
So we have strength training. I mean, there's about millions of classes every single day on the platform. We work with 9,000 partners globally, so we're in 50 cities around the world, and we actually just launched a major expansion. So next year we'll be launching in 20 more countries. What's great about the platform is you can open your app in London, and you might get there on one day and be able to book a bar class, a yoga class right when you land. It's one of those flexible memberships that lets you work out anywhere you want to.
And you have user-generated ratings of the, what do you call them, trainers, teachers, or
the classes,
instructors?
Yeah, so every class that our customers go to, they have to rate and review them, which helps us maintain the quality of the platform, especially because as we launch all these new cities, we obviously can't attend every single one of them, but it's important to make sure that the quality of every class is as high as we want.
I will have some questions on your marketing and growth strategy in a second.
Okay.
But let's talk about Adam. So we know each other for a long time, and you went to the US. Tell us a little bit about General Catalyst, why you invested in ClassPass, I think 2014, and why Payal hasn't managed to get you fit yet.
I'm a work in progress, by the way.
Everything is.
So, yeah, General Catalyst is a multi-stage venture firm based in the US. We invest from seed all the way through to growth stage. Most of our investments on the US companies like Airbnb, Stripe, ClassPass, Snap, and others. And we are active in Europe. We've invested in a number of companies here, including Deliveroo in the UK, Lemonade in Israel, Shift Technologies in France, Contentful in Germany, and we plan to be more active here. Our history with ClassPass goes back to 2013, actually, when we met Payal literally like 2 weeks after she came up with the idea that is the current product. Although we only landed up at her seed stage, we landed up investing in the first institutional round about a year later. But we were firstly inspired by Payal and her vision to try and change the world by getting more people to work out, but also just very compelled by the high-level secular trends around boutique fitness. And you have like tens of millions of people paying for gyms that they weren't going to, and a sort of smaller number of people that were attending group fitness, changing their lives, getting fit, but very expensive. And Payal really found a way to sort of open up the demand curve so more people could do this in a much more affordable way and sort of create a movement around that. And that's what inspired us.
So you clicked with the vision immediately?
Immediately, yeah.
And what you signed up for, what you expected when you invested, did it come through? Are you happy with the development of ClassPass?
Very happy. Well, I mean, why don't you share some of the statistics?
Yeah, can you share? Getting numbers out of these people is very difficult. Let's try. Especially the Americans are very hard to. So tell us some numbers.
So one of my favorite numbers, which as a founder is the one that's most important to me, is we've facilitated over 50 million reservations. And that is.
And how many did show up?
How many people did show up? We do have a cancellation rate.
You track that?
Of course we do.
Tell me about the cancellation rate.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, but about 15% of all reservations are canceled. But
1.5.
1.5.
And do they have to pay when they cancel?
Yeah, so if you don't cancel within the cancellation window,
like
you do
Uber
have
thing,
to pay.
Right? When you...
But I think the important thing is we have to protect our partners, right? Our partners are expecting someone to walk in, so we've always had to develop a cancellation
So 50 million, this is from the point you started?
From the point we started.
And this is mostly US?
Mostly U.S., although London is one of our largest markets, and we're also in 5 cities in Australia as well. But we've raised over $150 million at this point as well, and so
that's more than some people raise in an IPO. Huh?
We've raised a lot, but we have a really big vision. I think something that is really incredible about the platform we have is we own this currency with our customers around time. There is really no other app that exists that helps you book hours of your life, and we book hours of our customers' lives. They come to the app, they log in 4 times a day, they're booking what they're doing daily, right? A daily habit. And many apps don't have that type of engagement. And because of that, we know we can take that relationship into other types of categories. So even though we started with the boutique studio space, our vision is actually to help transform that relationship into other things that you can do to keep making your life better. So we just launched Wellness, which is you can go now get facials and massages on the platform. And we hope to continue to take that relationship and keep launching new, innovative things that people can do. We also have gym inventory, so instead of maybe going to class, you can go work out and run on the treadmill if that's, what you really want to do for your fitness routine.
Got you. And you told me that you have been a dancer yourself.
Yes.
And how did the idea come about?
Yeah, so my quick background, I went to MIT, I worked at Bain, so I had a pretty standard upbringing. My parents, wanted me to make sure I had...
Was there time to work out while you were at Bain? This
was always, my struggle is how was I going to find time? And so one day I was just looking online, I was looking for a ballet class to take, and I was miserably frustrated. I was on 14 websites, I couldn't find which class to go to, and I had seen models that had existed for doctors, food delivery, that had solved this problem using technology. And so I thought in that moment, I'm really passionate about something. There are so many people in the world who had either given up on their passions or who are struggling to just find how to get started. And that's when I took that on to say I need to build this technology to help people stay in touch with the things that make them happy.
We love marketplaces at NOAH. We had quite a few marketplaces on stage this year and last year. I love to check some of the economics. So you take like a 30% cut from the fitness instructor, or you take anything from the user side also, or what's your business model?
So we have a complicated business model because it's a subscription on top of a marketplace, right? So our customers are paying one price.
Customer, the instructor, or the...
The customers who are our members are paying one price. And then if they, for example, pay $100 and they get a set of credits, let's say they get 50 credits, they're using the credits to buy, and based upon the class and the popularity, the availability, how many times you've been to the studio, we actually pay out different amounts to our studios.
So you have a membership fee, and then on top, and then you don't get, what do you get from the instructor or from the...
We pay the instructor
we
based upon what the class
pay the
is.
studios that employ the instructors.
You close the transaction.
Yeah. Correct.
Wow, okay. And what's your wallet share if there's something like this? I mean, how important are you for some of these instructors? In the Uber case, the driving partners are, I guess, sometimes they're getting 60, 70% from Uber, then Lyft. How much do you...
So a lot of the suppliers are big chains of fitness studios. They could be Flywheel, Barry's Bootcamp, Core Power Yoga, etc. Some of them are individual studios that, maybe an entrepreneur that owns one yoga studio, or someone else that owns like 500. And for some of our partners, we drive a very substantial portion of the revenue.
Like a 10% or roughly?
It could, it could range from...
some of the businesses have built their entire marketing strategy around working with ClassPass, and those are more of the smaller venues, but we can be up to 90% of their business.
Fascinating.
We've also helped some of our studios grow. So for example, if we had an amazing yoga studio in Brooklyn that people absolutely loved, they didn't have the capital to expand into New York City, we would often help them with that transition through sort of a prepayment approach.
How important are discounts? We all remember this aggressive company, Groupon, working on discounts and driving leads to people. Since, I guess, these classes are a perishable good, do you have like a pricing scheme that 24 hours before you drop the price so that they are, because it's so scalable from an instructor. I mean, if you do the yoga with 3 or 10, I guess it's still the same time and work.
There's a lot of variables that go into how every class is priced, and once again, it's priced through the credits model that we have. I think back to what Adam was saying, the real brilliance of the model was finding a way to make fitness affordable. And what we realized is that 60% of these studios were operating at 60% excess capacity. And it's all remnant inventory, it's a fixed cost business. If we could fill the inventory, it'd be incremental revenue to them, but it meant we had to send volume, right? The only way we would be able to secure the discount was with volume. And so we were able to push the transactions through and get that discount from our partners.
So that's how you make money from the partner side.
Yeah, but also when Payal started the business, a big part of her focus was how can I create a sustainable model for the studios? And the real test is what is the retention of these studio relationships? And at ClassPass, we have almost zero churn of studios, which has not been the case for some of the other companies that you may have referenced.
I think fitness and churn is going together very well, no? I mean, especially for the gyms.
On the customer side. On the customer side.
Yeah.
But on the studio side, we found a proposition that really resonates for them and that helps them manage their business
they have
on a
no
long-term
reason
basis.
to churn, right? It's just upside, right?
It's
It's
a
like the
check
hotel
that
booking
grows every single
platforms.
month.
Like a hotel is on like 4 or 5 platforms, and yeah, the work to maintain the 6 and 7s is not worth it, so they stick to the big ones. Oh, I forgot my question. So let's ask the normal question. And then you as a board member, what do you want the company to do? The US market has a very healthy public company valuations. Do you want to take the company public, or is Europe growth first something you would do? If you would be the one, what do you think? You have so much experience in digital investing. What do you think is the next step for ClassPass?
Well, yeah, our focus is to enable Payal and Fritz to run the company to be able to realize their vision for the company and to make sure that they have the best options, whether that's to take the company public, which I hope, or anything else. This is obviously a very strategic space, and there's always been a lot of interest in the company. But our plan of record is hopefully to be an independent company. Is that right?
I mean, I always say this. I think the best companies, have massive visions, and we're just getting started. I know we've been around, and people always think that I think the best companies build platforms that can last forever. It's a very similar model to Amazon in my mind. Amazon started in books, where they get something to your doorstep. Did it matter that it was a book? Not really, right? And it's very similar to this. We're getting you to a place and to go to a class or attend an appointment that you booked in advance that we know is going to improve your life.
2 last questions. Now I remember the question. How do you prevent people going around the platform? If you put someone in touch with a great yoga instructor, why would they not go direct and cut you out? Is that happening?
It's a great question, and the model actually started more as a lead gen business. We were actually hoping we could send people back to these studios. We actually started and we had a cap on how many times you could go to any one studio. But over time, because of how simple our technology is, it's the same thing, with apps like Uber or other, food delivery. You don't want to switch. And so people really like using our app because of the easy access to it.
That's the same as the food delivery. I also thought, okay, if you order the pizza and it's the best pizza you ever had, why would you go against your delivery? We have the CEO of Delivery Hero coming soon, but it works, right? It's just it's behavior.
Convenience is,
convenience, yes.
Convenience is such an important thing to customers, and at the end of the day, we're also offering, very high discounts to our customers that they can't always get directly at the studios either.
Wow, excellent. I will try your app immediately. You're in Europe. In London, you already, you said.
We're
right?
in London,
okay,
correct.
I will do some yoga and Pilates.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.